All right, we back again for another day of work on the C10. So, today we're going to start some cleanup and tear out of some of the factory stuff that we'll be replacing. The first thing I'm gonna do is get stuff like these old transmission lines out. I'm gonna convert everything over to AN lines. I got an electric master cylinder that I'll be installing as well. So that'll need to go. We're gonna get this coolant tank removed. We're gonna get this brake reservoir over here. I mean, not brake reservoir, windshield wiper reservoir over here removed. Because we'll be replacing all that with new stuff. Make everything look a little bit nicer. Kind of got the bay degreased and wiped down already. So yeah. And I also going to be doing new brake lines from the forgot what they call these things. The almost like the diverter valve. I can't think of the term for it, but this is pretty much the teeth of the brakes. Goes in out of the master here, and then it breaks off to the front brake lines and the rear brake lines essentially. But yeah, we're gonna do new lines from here to the master, so we're gonna get that removed as well. And like I said, the master itself. So yeah. And then the next thing, honestly, I think the next thing, once I get everything taken out of the engine bay, at least for the engine bay itself, I'll probably look to install the motor next. Starting off by getting some of the old stuff taken out. Gonna get quite a bit of things knocked out, and then I'm gonna get transition over. Once I get everything removed, I'm gonna get transition over to starting to get the engine bay sanded and then getting it prepped for primer and paint. Nothing crazy, not a painter, but I'm gonna just kind of get some of the rust and bare spots covered up, just to get everything looking uniform and not have any issues later on down the road. All right, guys, and this is where we at now. Paint's all dry and everything after the little touch up and respray in the engine bay. Got all the old lines and everything taken out. Still got to get this wiring, all of that to get removed. But as you can see, the brake cylinder, brake booster and master cylinders out as well. So yeah, next step, we're gonna start putting this thing back together. At least the engine and the transmission, that's gonna be the next thing. I'm gonna do the engine, transmission this week, and then next week I'll do the fuel stuff, which would include the replacement of the fuel tanks, new fuel pumps, lines, also rear end, etc., etc. So that way the truck can go off to get the exhaust made and then come back here for the last wiring touches and other little small things to get knocked out. But yeah, so that looks great. And it actually, wasn't too bad. Once again, I'm not a painter, body guy, or anything like that. Much respect to those guys that do that stuff. I did my best. But yeah, so some parts came in for the truck. This is the air motor regulator that I had mentioned before. This will actually be able to take the EFI pump pressure, and it's a dual stage regulator that will actually be able to break it down from, I think this pump is regulated at 58 psi. I'll be able to bring that 58 psi down to 5 to 10 psi, which where a carburetor typically operates at, because they operate it's pretty much the opposite of EFI. They like high volume and low pressure, and then EFI is high pressure and low volume. So this is the relay that I'm going to be putting on the truck. That's going to be powering all the aftermarket electronics that I add. So this will power the fuel pump. This will power the new electric fans. This also power the electric master cylinder, and pretty much any other electronics is going to be all central out through this MSD relay. It's a 35 amp 4-channel, so each channel can handle 35 amps, and then you can also bridge them together. So say you can do two channels to control 70 amps if you ever needed that, and then they all individually activated. You can do power or ground activation for them. So really, really, really nice relay. Fuel filter, of course. Bunch of brake lines, bunch of brake fittings and everything that we're going to need, because I'm going to switch everything over, switch as much as I can over to stainless braided line, and then also to convert the transmission lines to AN, to convert fuel lines to AN, so on and so forth. Just a bunch of fittings there. Different PTFE fittings here for this is for the transmission. I think the 6AN, I'm gonna do 6AN for the transmission line and 8AN for the fuel. Here is the Holley fuel pump specific for the, I think it's the 73 to 87 of trucks. But yeah, this will drop right into the factory hat. So this is a Walbro 350. So this should be able to handle roughly about 800 horsepower of power. So yeah, should work great for the motor that we're putting in. Got the fuel filter and everything there. So that'll be a cool little install. Got a new motor mount. Gotta drill out the old mounts and then pop these new mounts on. New proportion valve. Old one's kind of old. Then we got the electric master cylinder kit here that I'll be unboxing. Came from Classic Performance Products. It should be a bolt-in kit to convert the truck from power steering to power brakes to electric brakes. And then this is going to be I already know this is going to be a super, super nice radiator fan combo. Bigger radiator, nicer internal transmission cooler. Plus it came with, we got it with the Spall fittings. I'm sorry, not Spall fittings, Spall fans. So it should offer a bunch of cooling capacity as well. What we'll be using with this with this build as well, is also because this car, of course, is old. Truck is old, so it has a lot of very, very old bolts and whatnot. So we're going to switch everything that I can switch over from the old bolts to, we're going to use black anodized grade 8 bolts. So it should make, longevity wise, you won't have to worry about the bolts causing any rust spots. Everything will go on and off really, really nice and clean. And it'll, overall look better. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to add those to it. He didn't really, so we got I already had gold grade A bolts, but he wanted to get the black just to keep it the factory look. So those will, make this just small little touches to make the truck, even nicer. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab those 2 bolts and nuts for the motor mounts, and get I actually had to buy another, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video, but had to buy another engine hoist because the truck needed a 2-ton just to get it over this front clip and whatnot. So I'm gonna get this pushed to the front garage so I can get the engine strapped up to it. Probably get my buddy Jeremy to come over and help me move it, because I gotta kind of push it up that hill out of my back of the shop. So yeah, get that in, and then we're gonna try and get this motor all dropped in and set in today. Let's see how it goes.
And indeed, Jeremy did come over to help me move the motor in. So we're going to get the carb taken off, get the motor plate bolted up to it, and get this thing moved into the shop. And since ain't nobody got time to push it up that hill, we're going to hook it up to that winch and winch that thing up in there. Now it's time to get the stand off, get the motor mounts on and the flywheel, and get the engine dropped into the engine bay.
All right, guys, so we got the motor in. Motor's in and all bolted down. Along with the 4L80. So we got the 4L80 in, got the new transmission cross member in, and got the motor done. So now, just got to go through and do some small, also electric master cylinders in. It's not all the way bolted in, got that mocked up for now. What I am going to do now is start getting this part of the install buttoned up. So I'm going to install the torque converter bolts. I'm going to tighten up the bolts on the carb because I just kind of have this placed there. So I'm going to get those tightened up. And then going to work on today, we'll be pulling out this factory rear end and then also getting this exhaust out the way. But yeah, shouldn't be too bad, but going to start on that. All right, so after we done got the rear end out, got the new one that's going to be going in along with the new brakes. Got some new lines as well, new pads, old exhaust. Also got the gas tanks out. Gonna get everything prepped for the Holley setup to go in there. Holley EFI fuel pump to drop in. And get this tank put back in. This 9-inch came from Quick Performance. Should be a very solid piece to hold up all the power that the truck is gonna be making now. Shouldn't have any issues. Should do great. Looks great, assembled together fairly easy. I think this is a 35 spline axle kit. Yeah, like I said, should definitely be able to hold plenty power. It's actually, I want to say it's 2 inches shorter, so the wheels will actually tuck a little bit more as well. That's what the owner of the truck wanted, so that should look great too once I get it installed. So yeah, about to get to work, like I stated, on this fuel stuff, and then we're gonna work on getting the rear end in. All right, guys, got the rear end in, brakes and the wheels back on. Thing looks good, man. Shout out to my neighbor across the street for coming over and giving me a hand sliding the rear end in place. But yeah, looks great, man. Looks fucking great. Everything's all bolted up besides 2 bolts on the spring over there. We get those tightened up here in a second, and then yeah, next thing I'm gonna do is throw the gas tank in. But yeah, it came out great. The new brakes fit great. You can see the wilwood back there. Looks fucking awesome. So I got the was able to get the pump inside the tank. So this is gonna be used this as a return line from the regulator. Then right now I kind of did this. I was gonna do a barb to AN and then do PTFE AN because I haven't been able to find a quick connect fitting to go from here to 6 AN like I do on this one. And I'm actually doing 8 AN for the feed, so 6 AN return and 8 AN feed. But I got a few other options I'm gonna try before I actually go through with this and
Because, I mean, if I did, it would only make this short hose non-PTFE, and then the rest would be PTFE. But if I can find the right fitting for this to adapt, then I'm going to do that. So I got another fitting I'm going to try. Because this is the one I bought, but this is off of Racetronics, which I would have thought it's the same. And I think it's just because of the design. This one is a 2-piece screw together design, and this one is kind of like almost like a PCV type AN line or quick connect adapter. So I think that's the problem. I got another one coming in the same style as that one, so hopefully that fits, and then I can convert that to an 8 AN feed, and then take this off, and then get the tank put in. So hopefully later on today I'll have the tank put in. And I did cut the connector that it came with off and went with the Deutsch connector, just because the rest of the connectors that I use on the car will be Deutsch connectors. So just decided to make everything kind of universal and simple as far as that goes. So yeah, this project is wrapping up pretty good. Next week it'll actually be heading off to get the exhaust done. So I more than likely won't have it after this week for a couple of weeks while the headers and exhaust is getting made. Then it'll come back to get the final look over and then wiring. Then we'll get everything kind of broken in and tested out, and then it'll be heading back to the customer. So I know this is kind of a long video, but I definitely appreciate you guys watching. And if you got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.